Kelvin, why do you shoot this kind of shot? Why is your photo that dark? Why is your photo that bright? Things like that. You don't have any other things to shoot at? Things like that. So it's terrible. And sometimes I got lost and forget what I wanted to do. So when I actually bought my very first camera, that was the day that I actually stopped smoking. Hi, my name is Kelvin Chan, and I'm a commercial and fashion photographer based in Kuching, Sarawak. So I studied in SMB St. Joseph, and then I graduated in 1996, and then I actually wanted to pursue architecture, but I didn't manage to do it. So I went out there, get a job, exploring the world, different kind of field, different kind of jobs, from sales to mostly marketing, And then in 2010, I went into photography. That was when I actually started to go and went into photography as a hobby. Now I choose photography as because first of all I have been working for different kind of field. I don't think that I want something which is I can actually relate to. I love arts really much. So I wanted to have a career which is doing what I love. So in 2015, actually, by the end of 2015, actually I quit all my job, from what I'm doing. And then in early 2016, I started as a full-time photographer from there. I hope that they will remember it as their own memory, because I wish that my work actually relates to the person viewing it, so that they would have a connection between my work to their own story, my first camera, I bought it in March, 3rd of March 2010. Right? It was a Nikon D90. I started as a digital photographer. Yes. I remember when I got my first camera, right? So I don't even know what to do with it. So I called up my friend. Right? How do I actually turn it on? Things like that. So he just asked me to, you turn the dial to P, turn it on, okay, go out and shoot something. So I went out. When I shoot it, it was like a panning kind of shoot. When I shoot a motorcycle going like that, So when I took it, wow! When I see the photo, it was so good that I thought that, I'm top of the world. I can shoot anything. I'm professional. So it started off like that. Yeah. When I started in 2016 full-time as a fashion, I definitely wanted to shoot fashion and commercial. And then when I tell quite a lot of my friends that I'm not gonna do wedding, I definitely gonna do fashion photography. Everyone was telling that, oh, Kelvin, you are crazy. If you are not doing wedding, then how do you survive? Correct? All right. So I was back then quite determined that I definitely want to do it. I know that there's no market, there's definitely no market here in Sarawak. East Malaysia is a bit slow on that particular area, correct? But for me, that is actually quite a good thing. Yeah. So if there is no market, I will start to create my own market. All right. I'm not gonna wait until the whole industry is go into fashion and then you started to follow them, correct? So if there's no path, if there's no market here, I will start and build my own, and people will start to follow, correct? So I want it to be the first one. I want it to be the pioneer on creating this particular platform. You know, I do a lot of commercial, I do a lot of fashion. I love those surreal kind of fantasy shots and headshots, models, things like that. Yeah, portraits. I think it will be the ultraviolet portrait that I did in early 2016. Those are the one that actually won quite a lot of awards, and the one that actually triggers the whole of my career. And you know, when I started full time as a photographer. Yeah. Definitely that one. Definitely that one. It happened when one of my friend, which is a hairdresser, he actually got this ultraviolet dye for hair, you know. Alright. So he was asking me whether or not, hey Kevin, can you try to shoot this kind of shot on portrait? I said, okay, I can. You just order, because the paint itself is quite expensive. So when he actually ordered, so I go online, try to check whichever things that I can check on ultraviolet shots. There's not much to learn about, you know. So it's quite difficult. So I end up struggling on that particular shot. Okay, and then one thing that I remember is that for you to actually shoot ultraviolet, you do need some sort of like a lighting strobe, okay? And then the only brand that actually produce that light is from brown color. So I would need one of the lights, a few lights. You know? One of the strobe will cost you around 50,000 ringgit. So I need 4, right? So I cannot, right? I cannot afford that kind of money. For 200,000 ringgit for one photo, I can't afford it. So I spent around 4-5 months to actually create that one, and I managed to actually build my own lights for it. So this is something which is which back then I didn't think that it was possible, but yeah, definitely something that I will cherish, and you know, that one actually is a personal project. Yes. So I started that one, the ultraviolet one. It's very interesting because remember when I said that I actually quit photography. So when I came back, I have nothing of kosong. Memang zero. Not even a camera, not even a memory card. So when I took my very first ultraviolet portrait, I have nothing, right? So I have to borrow a camera from a friend. I borrow all those. I borrow a studio from a friend, and then I borrowed a tripod, things like that, and then I shot things, the portrait. You know? So a lot of things which is some of my students before, They ask me, oh, you shot that kind of shots, probably you have like expensive gear, things like that, because of you have expensive lights, but actually it's not, it's totally different, So for me, having things, if you're really passionate towards what you are doing, you wanted to do more, you wanted to achieve something, it's really simple, you have to just do it, right? But the hardest part is not about doing it. The hardest part is how desperate you want it. I've won awards from PPAC, is a platform in Hong Kong, Macau. I did one, there's one in Macedonia, there's one in Europe, the UK. There's quite a few places. I think difficult aspect when not just as a fashion photographer, as a photographer, I'm sure most of the time it's like you have everything planned out, okay? You have your models and your stylist, your art director, everything on set, okay? You are preparing to shoot, you already have your mood boards, everything, you know the angle that you want to take. So when you shoot it, it's like totally different from what in your mind, correct? So I get that all the time. I get it all the time. So how do you compensate on how do you deal with that kind of problem? It's actually quite easy. So I already know that there's a certain angle that I wanted, okay? The on set, everything. Okay, I have my models coming in. When I take a few shots, it turns out slightly different from what I expected, correct? Then what do? You change your angle straight away. Let's try from left to right, up and down. If it doesn't work, change the whole scene. Don't want to waste everyone's time. Everyone is there, your lighting people are there, your crew are there, the models are there. You don't want everyone to stress out or whatsoever. So if you can't do it, sometimes it works like that. Sometimes you want to shoot outdoor and then it started to rain. Then what do? That is something which you cannot change, but you have to improvise. Yeah. First of all, I'm blessed enough to have really good clients. All right. But of course, when dealing with business, I will definitely try my best to give advice or suggestion to my clients, whichever works. All right. So, but if the client have a specific requirement or what they wanted, then I will try my best to deliver. That's it. Yeah. For me, everything is really interesting. Something that I never worked before or never come occur before, or maybe like if I'm shooting a new model that I never shot before, for me it's really interesting because I love the challenges. So every brand and every designers and everyone is unique. Everyone have their own character to their work. So I will try my best to actually adapt to what they are trying to create, and I will try my best to actually portray what they are wanted people to see. Yeah. Photographer who actually inspires me is her name is Brooke Shaden. She's a fine art photographer. She did quite a lot of shots herself with a really low budget, and most of the shots are selfie. So it's quite interesting. You know? So when you look at the shots that she did, it's something which is you won't imagine that it happened or with a just a minimal budget, and then she can actually achieve that kind of shots and things like that. You know? So it's really inspiring. Okay. When I'm doing nothing, if I'm not I'm not shooting, I'm not with clients, I will definitely look through other people's work. I will go for workshop. I will constantly look, even in YouTube, in online, in workshops. Definitely to look into more photos. Okay, so if you are going into fashion photographer, photography, definitely you want to look into other fashion photographers' work. You want to know more about fashion, what it is all about. What is their wardrobe, things like that. What is the color palette? What are the color for this year? Things like that. So you definitely have to specific to look into details on fashion. I think nowadays this is something which is we cannot stop from happening. Yeah. Now living in a digital world, social media is like part of everyone's life, right? And then the advance of handphone right now, everyone can actually use their handphone to take really nice photos. So I think this one is something which is we definitely have to accept, and just to focus more on ourselves and do more as a photographer. Something which we cannot stop from happening. The one thing that I always remember is to be sincere, no matter what you do. In business, in relationship, in friends. So this is something which is I always keep in mind. I always be sincere. Yeah. Do more. Definitely do more. It's from Casey Neistat. He always says that, oh, you have to do more, things like that. So I think it's really accurate. People tend to just sit there and think about what should I do, and should I plan ahead, what do I do next, or things like that. You should actually just straight away just go for it. Do more. Abstract photography. I never actually looked into abstract photography, and I did quite a few, but I don't think that mine is probably slightly different from this one. And yeah, definitely up for the challenge. Right. So we are now at the Chinese temple of Bangkok. Looking at the weather, it's really cloudy now. I think it's gonna rain soon. when you talk about abstract, when I think about it, it should be something related to colors, something blurry, movements, not necessarily texture or lines. So we'll be looking maybe a few different kind of shots and see whether or not how it goes from there. But for this particular shot, probably I will have it darker, because the thing is, I don't want to be shooting just as if I can, how to say, see all those texture, but I want to see more of the colors and movement. One way to actually easily to do it is either you make your photos bokeh or have it something like this. Use a bit of this one, apply it on the lens, but when you apply it, you want it to be something which is in motion. So let's try just half of it first. See? So when you shoot, you will see that this particular part is totally in a blurry way. Creativity is limitless. You have to be really constantly learning. It's growing every single day.